Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lakshadweep visit has put a special focus on the archipelago and a newly found interest in the Union Territory. PM Modi pitched the archipelago as a must visit for adventures. However, a row erupted after Maldives ministers used derogatory remarks on PM Modi in India. Following Maldives ministers' comments, many Indians on social media claim that they cancelled their planned holidays to the island nation, and also celebrities in India batted for Indian tourist destinations over those abroad. Notably, Indian tourists were, remember, the highest amongst visitors to the Maldives till December 2023. Data from the country's tourist ministry has showed the largest number of tourists who visited the Maldives were from India, followed by Russia and China. However, following the derogatory remarks, several Indian citizens and prominent celebrities, of course, are calling for a boycott of Maldives and its tourist spots. Joining us to look at this further is Robindra Sachdev, international affairs expert. We also have Sumit Peer, political commentator, joining us live. Sharat Kohli, senior economist, also joins us live. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, is live with us on the broadcast. Sharat Kohli, at the end of the day, any campaign will only work if the economic pinch is felt by a country. And now clearly citizens on social media want Maldives to feel that pinch. If these are the kind of remarks that their ministers will make, if this is the outlook that their government wants to have for India, then is it time to make them feel the economic pinch?
Undoubtedly, Uday. I mean, I love to start what I have to say with a Hindi phrase, although we are on your English channel. They say कि किसी ने अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मार लिया, और एक होता है किसी ने पैर कुल्हाड़ी पर देके मार दिया. So this is a classic case of somebody trying to, self-harm. With 209,000 something tourists, the biggest number of tourists coming from India, 28% of that country's revenue depends on tourism. 60% of their forex depends on tourism. And for their minister to make this statement, this derogatory statement, I would say, and for a country, for us, it doesn't exist. The size of the population is more than the size of population of Karol Bagh in Delhi. I mean, look who's talking. I mean, again, a Hindi phrase say, ye muh aur masoor ki dal. I mean, this country can probably afford to make this statement against somebody who's got an international stature. Our Prime Minister today is an international personality. And for this unknown minister, God knows who she is. And I also feel, Uday, that there is a communal touch to it, because I was reading the tweet. It says it is talking and referring about Israel as well. So I think there is a communal touch to this hatred statement which has been made, which is very, very bad, because it is not just about Prime Minister posting his pictures on Lakshadweep or probably Maldives feeling insecure from the fact that Indian island is going to compete with Maldives. It's also got a communal smell in it. I can smell communalism in this, which is extremely bad for a minister to make the statement. I mean, look at the size of the GDP, look at the population, look at the area. A country which survives only and only on the countries around the place can afford to do this. And I'm glad that the Maldivian government has reacted quickly. 3 ministers have been suspended. I'm glad that there is some reaction. I think the rest of Maldives, apart from these 3 ministers, hopefully realize what they have done. And I think it's a lesson for other countries, for all the people who try and run propaganda against India, Indian governance, Indian politicians, Indian ministers, and the Prime Minister above all. I think there is a clear propaganda. There is a lobby which functions against India. We have been talking on your channel, but whatever they may do, Uday, whatever they may say, whatever propaganda, whatever agenda they run, nothing is going to work. It is only going to glorify India's stature. It is only going to raise the stature of the Indian Prime Minister, Uday.
Okay, Sumit Peer, come in here on your take on this social media campaign now that has erupted. Many celebrities also batting for Indian beach destinations, Indian, holiday destinations. It clearly seems that Prime Minister's visit to Lakshadweep has irked the Maldives. Why?
Uday, thanks for having me on your show. It's a very important show. I believe in one firm thing. Insulting the democratically elected Prime Minister of India is insulting 1.4 billion Indians. And having this cow dung and laddu kind of tweets and Israel into it slave of Israel and all other things. It is insulting 1.5 billion Hindus across the world, across the, across our diaspora across the world. Now, this is something what a country, tiny mini country like Maldives cannot handle, because we generate 10% of their employment. Their GDP runs on us. Look, I'll count the things what we are given to them. कहते हैं ना, जिस थाली में खाना उसी में छेद करना, आसान फरामोश. हिंदी में ये भी कहता है. Lie down to what Dr. Saab said. First thing is, we saved them in Operation Cactus. It is the Indian Army which saved you. Polytechnic, we did. First university, we did. $1.4 billion for infrastructure projects, 8 of them we did. Hospital, we did. Airport, we renovated. ATC, we did for you. And then the first vaccines, when we launched, 100,000 vaccines were sent to you free of cost, we did it. $250 million of worth development projects in 2022. Another 100 millions in 2022, we did. Douglas aircraft, we gave you. Dornier aircraft, we gave you. Pivot, Coast Guard Cravat boat, that small ship, we gave you for this. Training of your people, we ensure. Disaster recovery, we manage. Tsunami, we were the first one to help you relief. We were the only country which shipped a ship full of doctors and nurses to help you in the COVID. Now, if this is not brotherhood, if this is not dosti, if this is not Vasudevam Kutumbakam, then you don't understand. And what Dr. Saab Dr. Kohli rightly brought, what is this Hindu-Muslim got to do with it? What is this Israel got to do with it? What is this cow dung ka laddu got to do with it? No, is being Hindu and is being Sanatani some kind of a, ek koi kalank hai kya? Is because you are Muslim and we are Hindu, are we somewhat inferior? That is the problem. And the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned about, Lakshadweep, we have a policy of Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, vocal for local. Under the same stated policy, we mentioned Lakshadweep. Where did he mention Maldives? And why are you irking? Aapko takleef kyun ho rahi hai? You do not, if you are so much paranoid with India, you don't like Indian and Hindu so much, you want to, equate Hindu money with cow dung and laddu and Israel and all that, then you state your policy. And next time when there's a disaster, when there's a tsunami, when there's everything, you will not be even known to the world where you will disappear. I'm sorry to say that. There was an earthquake of 5.5. Imagine Uday 86, 6.5. And all the tourists who are going there for the sake of God, international tourists, sing one thing. You come to Lakshadweep. God forbid there can be a climate, natural disaster. You have might of Indian Army, you have might of Indian Navy, you have Indian MDRF, you have Indian Air Force, and you have Indian Coast Guard, and might have 1.4 billion people, the third biggest military to cover you, to save you. But God forbid if you go to Maldives or something like this happens, it is Indian Ocean, God and yourself. There's nothing else there. So you have to really validate where do you want to go. How safe is Maldives? I'm pushing this question. How, I was just going through a tweet, there was a Swiss couple which went there to kind of, regenerate their vows and all there. They were abused, they were insulted, they were told infidels, they were told kafirs, they were told all these things. If religion has to come in tourism, then kiss goodbye to Maldives. And I don't think tourism and religion, and how can a Swiss Christian couple become infidels? So are you saying that anybody who doesn't believe in Islam should not come to Maldives? Are you saying anybody who's a non-believer, who's a Christian, who's a Hindu, who's a Buddhist, who's a Jain, or who's a Sikh is an infidel? How do people like me become infidels? If I go my wife and my family there, do I become an infidel? Should my wife be abused? Should my daughter be abused? This is the question what I want to ask. And what is this so-called president of Maldives doing? If you want to be in the Chinese lap, if you want to be a Chinese slave, you can be, have no problems. But remember what China did to Uyghurs. Uyghurs are again Muslims. What has China done to them? There might be one more re-education camp which might open in Maldives. Then do not tell us what is happening there. What happens to the mosques in China? How is CCP changing the DNA of Uyghurs? How PLA soldiers are bedding Uyghur women? You want that to happen to Maldives and Maldivian, young girls? Then welcome to and be China's slave. But you can choose whatever you want to do. But you cannot insult the most powerful leader and the leader of the world's largest democracy. Because if you insult him, you are directly insulting us. This is an insult to all the India. And all the India with its might is going to pay you back. And you know where it hurts the most. It's not only economy. It is your survival. Your survival today depends on India. And India pulls the hand. And if, God forbid, there's a calamity, by the time China reaches you from South China Sea, na Maldives रहेगा, na samundar रहेगा, na machli रहेगी, na jahaz रहेगा, कुछ भी नहीं बचेगा. You have to know where are you geographically placed. You have to know your vulnerabilities, and all the work which we did for you 2 decades. We brought you up like a younger brother. This is how you reply to our Prime Minister. This is how you insult our Prime Minister, and you insult patriotic, spiritual Hindus of the country. I mean, what is our mistake being a Hindu? And who are you to criticize my religion? I'm angry, I'm paranoid. Why are you criticizing my religion? Who gave you that power? You might be a goddamn minister in Maldives, but do not dare to insult my religion. Do not dare to insult my Gau Mata. Yes, I love my Gau Mata. I'm a devout Hindu. That is what I'm proud about. Who the hell are you to talk about it and comment about that? And what is your business in Israel? Who are you? You are a dot in the Indian Ocean, which can come and disappear with a bigger tsunami or earthquake, which is 6 on the Richter scale. You will never be known to the world. It is us who got you into an international tourist map. It was our Bollywood guys who got you into the tourist map. And we know you are paying a lot of Bollywood celebrities to come there to do a lot of bikini shoots and all. Put them in the Instagram and become famous. That is how you became, that is what you're called famous. And let me tell you, Lakshadweep and resources in India are 10 times beautiful than Maldives and 10 times cheaper than Maldives. Maldives is that damn expensive. A middle class person like me cannot even think of going there. I cannot pay $15 for a bottle of mineral water. I don't have that money. I can't live there. So rich of the world have all the paradises in the world. There is Seychelles, there is Mauritius, and there is India. We Indians will go for India. What I loved about French people when I used to go to France, they told me even for a holiday, French will never go out of France. They will even holiday in France. That is the thing what the Honorable Prime Minister told. It's our stated policy. How is it irking you? Where does cow dung and Israel got to do with you? We need an apology from the President of Maldives. Nobody less if you want to settle this or make it even. Unless until that unconditional apology comes, and this business of removing military from there should stop, because we don't want Maldives to be given, we don't want them to give a base to Chinese. We are as clear as that. We know what you are up to. You want to irk us, you want Indian military to go from there so that Chinese can sit right under our nose, and you want to plot, you want to use your land to plot against the interest of India. How we are not naive, Mr. President. We understand what you're up to and will not let it happen. Be best assured. Uday.
All right, let me in fact take that across to Robinder Sachdev. Robinder Sachdev, action already being taken. Several Indians coming out, cancelling their upcoming holidays to Maldives, saying they don't want to go after seeing these kind of remarks being made on our country's Prime Minister, these remarks being made on India and Indians. Robinder.
Thank you so much, Uday. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, condemnable is the word to say the least, uncalled for, not needed, unwanted,
Yes.
and deplored. A couple of things. One, a little charitable view could be, I would take maybe, that these ministers are newbies, they're rookies, they've not been in, high-level positions earlier, and flush from the victory and in their exuberance, they are saying and articulating, foolish things which they were sloganeering during the elections, right? During the elections, you take the tempo to another level, rhetoric could have been there, but once in power, you got to be responsible. So that could be a little charitable view, little for these ministers, but yeah, there is inherent, there's another inherent bias, I think, as Sharad ji and Sumit have also identified, that when they refer to India as, quote unquote, I think the word used was puppet of Israel, right? So there is that sentiment, I think, amongst this new government, which is in power, with respect to Israel and therefore with respect to India on that count also. Now, that said, in terms of, yes, we have been there, and it's not only the economic contribution that Indians bring to their, to the country, but all elements of, like security, military, disaster, natural disaster, other disasters. I think in 2014, there was an acute water shortage in Malé. See, islands have a typical problem, especially in the Indo-Pacific or wherever, though they're surrounded by water, but drinking water is a problem in all islands in the Asia-Pacific, right? So Malé had a huge shortage. We sent across our Navy ships and our air cargo planes with bottled water immediately, right? So we are there for you in that sense. And to, mouth such words with respect to the people of India and to the leader of India is absolutely, I think, is uncalled for. One other thing, in terms of the tourism and economy and all, I think they've got a target now that by year 2028, they are targeting to have 3.5 million tourists coming in. Now, Indians definitely contribute, I think, about 20% or 20 to 30% of the tourists which are going there. So if they're looking at 3.5 million tourists in the year 2028, if India contributes, let's say, minus this controversy and all, if India was bringing around 1/5 or 1/4, that means out of 3.5 million, about 1 million would have been Indian tourists. Now, with this, I think they will not reach those numbers which they were wanting, because in any case now, okay, this controversy may be forgotten over a period of time, as all controversies often go. But of course, the government has a long memory with respect to the government and diplomacy, which they'll have to deal with Maldives. But the people of India also have a certain memory. So the number of tourists, I think, going to Maldives will, without doubt, go down. It won't, I mean, it won't go down to zero, but the growth will drop, and many who've been there earlier. So it will hurt their targets of their economy in any case.
Okay, let me in fact also bring in Gautam Mukherjee for his take. Gautam Mukherjee, obviously, the economic pinch, once that is fair, perhaps there will be a relook at this government's bizarre warped policies vis-a-vis India. Clearly, of course, overlooking our generosity to them, our support to them in their blind love for China. Gautam Mukherjee, where does this campaign head, which has already begun, as I said, already got celebrities supporting it, already clearly has made the government feel the pinch so much in just 24 hours that these 3 ministers have been sacked already, or a bigger pardon, suspended already?
Well, it doesn't convince me that these 3 junior ministers have been suspended. So what? From day one, the new president, has been making anti-India remarks. He has made bold to speak to Modi and say, please remove your military personnel. He has repeated that on more than one occasion. So this falls in line with what is going on as a policy under this government. It isn't a mistake. And now to split the beam and say these ministers have spoken in their personal capacity, this is not the policy of the government, doesn't hold water, because they are, after all, ministers. And two, if the government has a different point of view, what, pray, is it? So I think the Indians would do well to boycott Maldives completely, stop going there. There are many, apart from all our Indian resorts, including the Lakshadweep, which has just been pinpointed or highlighted by the Prime Minister himself, there are many beach holiday countries: Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Bali and Indonesia. Many of these people are also Muslims. They don't go around insulting us. In fact, the Swiss lay out a red carpet and never fail to say how the Indian tourists are contributing substantially to their economy, some 2 or 3%. So the Swiss know where their money is coming from and know how to behave with us. I have seen signboards in Switzerland welcoming Indian tourists at various prominent places in the town. And these people have jumped up and started to misbehave, and they should be taught a lesson in no uncertain terms. Even if there is an apology, even if whatever it is that they're up to, I think they ought to try and plug the gap with Chinese tourists and see how far they get. And not only that, this policy is so misguided that if they do rely entirely on the Chinese, they will find out how the Chinese treat them. Sri Lanka knows. Sri Lanka bought the Rajapakshas, and the Chinese seem to have bought this Muzu and his team, and they will find out how the Chinese treat them without a balance of power with India. And it will serve them right, and deservedly so. I don't think we ought to forgive and forget. Diplomatically, there may be good noises made on both sides, but as an Indian citizen, I wouldn't go there. And as Sumit, I did go there, and I was shocked how small Malé was. It's about 1 square mile. That's it. That's the whole country. Apart from that, you've got tiny islands. Each island is a resort dedicated to that resort. You can't go there unless you pay through your nose. it's rapaciously expensive. It has no business. I mean, they have 5-star resorts, but so what? There are 5-star resorts everywhere, and they're easy enough to build. And we know hospitality much better than these people will ever know. So I think they ought to be shown their place and let them actually. We have given away too much goodwill for too long under the previous governments. This started, and now we strategically they may be 600 kilometers away, but I'm sure we have alternatives, especially as we develop the Andamans and all the related islands. I think we can strategically make up for the loss of Maldives in the event they want to go into the Chinese pocket. Uday.
Yes, but let me quickly go back across. Yes, Sumit Peer wants to quickly react. Yes, Sumit.
I wanted to make one point very clear, not being diplomatically correct here. Look, Indian Army is not a PSO service. It's not a Rashtriya security company where you pay a monthly bill and you get guards and you ask them to come and you ask them to leave.
Yeah.
We are Indian Army to protect our interest and your interest. Operation Cactus was done on our sweat and blood, right? And we risk everything to save you from your country, from the people who are trying to take over your country. Now, if a new president comes, it's not your choice. Indian Army is not a PSO service. We don't give PSOs on a monthly, invoice which we send. This message has to go in loud and clear. And when we know you are in Chinese lap, you want Indian military to leave and you want Chinese to be 600 kilometers below our nose. And you expect us to be naive. You want our money. You want to insult our religion. You want to use Indian Army as a security guard service on a monthly basis. Well, that is not going to happen, Mr. President. Wake up, smell coffee. And what Gautamji brought a brilliant point. If India is not there, then the way China will treat you is worse than Uyghurs. Worse than Uyghurs. And when Chinese come, three things comes for free. First is gambling, second is drugs, and third is womanizing. So-called Islamic country with that scarf and all, the leader, the minister with the scarf and all, are they prepared for that? Do they know what is happening in Xinjiang? Do they want another re-education camp to open in Maldives and teachers coming from Xinjiang to teach them what they have taught Uyghurs? That is the call Maldives has to take, Uday.
Okay, that's a call. Yes, Maldives certainly has to take, Sumit, and it's a call now. What Indians will do next, Sharad as well. Where do you see this campaign headed? Day one, a lot of cancellations already. What next, Sumit? Sharad Kohli, beg your pardon.
8,000 room nights cancelled
already
as quickly as it could happen. 2,500 flights cancelled as quickly as it could happen. I think, you know what, in the hindsight, I'm just wondering, when the Prime Minister went to Lakshadweep and when those pictures were posted, it was his intent to probably become a kind of a brand ambassador for our own country, for our own destination, that these are the places where the Indians must go instead of burning away your foreign exchange, spending probably five times or 7 times more. But notwithstanding the filth of the incident, Uday, I'm going to say something very important here. Notwithstanding the filth of the whole incident, which is purely to be condemned without any doubt, I would say that the incident will give further boost to Lakshadweep. So what the Prime Minister did, he never named Maldives. He wanted to promote Lakshadweep, but because, as I said, they have hit their foot on the axe, now this is going to very quickly deplete the number of tourists going to Maldives sooner than what would have happened otherwise. I think this will serve as a catalyst. And you will see the number of cancellations which happen. Maldives is going to regret this for the rest of their life. This is one scar, Uday, which cannot be removed. Whatever suspensions they may do, as my co-panelists have said, whatever ministers they may remove, the fact of the matter is that their heart is what their president has spoken. The day they spoke about removing Indian military from the territory of Maldives, this clearly speaks of their intentions, their thoughts, their feelings, their diplomatic relations with India. I think that scar cannot be removed. And this is only reiterating that hatred that they have against India thanks to China or whatever be the vested reasons which Maldives have. I think this is going to affect Maldivian tourism. It is going to hurt them, and it will hurt them where it really pains. It is really going to hurt them. A country surviving on tourism, they've got nothing out there. Fishing and shipping. And another important point today. This is also going to affect their shipping business, by the way, because there are a lot of consignments, there are a lot of shipping routes which go via India. There is entry port trade happening via Maldives. That is also going to be impacted. So the impact is not just on tourism. The impact is on the rest of the two pillars of their economy. One is fishing. Of course, fishing, they may be able to serve you good fishes while you are there at crazy prices. But shipping is definitely going to be impacted. And I think the Maldivian ministers, they are immature. They forgot that they are commenting about G20 president at the moment. 20 of the most powerful countries, the country which is leading, the leader which is leading the G20 pact, they are commenting about that leader. So you can imagine what the rest of the world is going to think. I think Maldivian president, Maldives as a country must own up instead of shirking away their responsibility.
Right.
They should own up this slip up. And I'm sure they'll learn the hard way in the times to come, Uday.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.